A mail-in ballot in Lancaster County might have had a delay, but now voting officials in Lancaster County say it might be okay. We'll tell you what changed today.
An Adams County man facing charges after leading police on a chase. What court documents reveal and why it ended in a water rescue.
A homicide that brought out a major police force is still under investigation. I'll tell you about the latest developments.
With the election quickly approaching, how the balance of power in the Pennsylvania legislature could shift.
And good evening to you. Welcome to News 8 at 6. I'm Lori Burkholder.
And I'm Jerry Gish. It's been 3 years and 3 months, but the trial of a Florida man charged with homicide by vehicle in a deadly crash that left 2 siblings dead is now underway.
Brandy and Lenny Casper were killed in that fiery collision in May of 2021. Let's go to Ann Shannon. She's at the Lancaster County Courthouse with day 1 of that trial. Ann?
Yeah, good afternoon, you guys. The Casper family was in the courtroom today. The entire family filled the second row of courtroom 1. They cried quietly as the trial got underway. 40-year-old Cesar Torres, who is from Florida, is charged with 2 counts of homicide by vehicle and 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the crash that left Brandy and Lenny Casper dead. Brandy was 21 at the time of the crash. She was driving her family's Ford pickup truck. Her younger brother Lenny was 18 and was about to graduate from high school. In court today, the assistant district attorney told the jury that Torres was driving a full car carrier on Route 72 South in Lancaster County back on May 22nd, 2021. He had just picked up the vehicles at the Mannheim Auto Auction when investigators allege he ran a red light in East Petersburg and hit the Casper's pickup truck that was crossing through that intersection. The Casper's vehicle flipped over and burst into flames. Now, attorneys for Torres say he was not reckless and that this was just a tragic accident. The district attorney's office disagrees, saying Torres had the time to slow down or stop, and he did nothing. The trial continues tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. In Lancaster County, Ann Shannon at WGAL News 8.
All right, Ann, thanks for that. A former Central Dauphin middle school teacher and wrestling coach is under arrest for sending nude photos to a student this summer. 32-year-old Alexander Swigert of Camp Hill is facing felony charges for sending obscene images to a minor and encouraging her and her friend to engage in sex. Police say Swigert also admitted to having sex with an 18-year-old Central Dauphin high school student. A statement sent to News 8 from the district says in part that they are aware of allegations against Swigert and the district fired him.
In Adams County, a 19-year-old man is facing charges after police say he led officers on a chase that ended up turning into a water rescue. His 17-year-old pregnant girlfriend was in the car at the time. Officers say they chased Lucas Sandoval early Sunday morning after he committed multiple traffic offenses in McSherrystown. The chase ended up at a quarry behind Ridge Avenue and 6th Street. Police say the car went into the water and officers had to rescue Sandoval and his girlfriend. Police say neither of them were injured. Police say Sandoval was driving under the influence at the time. Court records show his license was previously suspended due to a DUI-related incident. He now is facing charges of DUI, attempting to elude police, and reckless driving. Police are investigating a deadly crash in Dauphin County. It happened at Route 22 and 322 westbound near the Linglestown Road and Route 39 exit just before midnight yesterday. Police say a black Hyundai Sonata was traveling at a high rate of speed before swerving into a grassy area, striking a culvert box, and then crashing into the concrete pier of the Fishing Creek Valley overpass. The driver of the car was pronounced dead at the scene. Their identity has not been released. The cause of the crash is under investigation.
Harrisburg police say there is no threat to the public after a homicide on Friday, though they still haven't announced any arrests. So go to Tom Lehman, who joins us live now from police headquarters on Walnut Street, on why police, Tom, are making that determination.
Yeah, Lori, at this point, police have not identified a suspect or said whether there could potentially be someone in custody at this point. But they have said that the homicide that happened on Friday night on North 14th Street is believed to be an isolated incident. There's no larger threat to the public. Police have identified the victim as 38-year-old Thomas Davenport of Harrisburg. Property records listed him as the owner of the residence at the focal point of the investigation. Police blocked off streets and secured the area around that home around 5 p.m. after a shooting was reported. For roughly 5 hours, police surrounded that home and nearby homes where the homicide happened because there was information that suggested the gunman may still be inside the home where the shooting occurred. Officers used everything from a drone to smoke bombs and less than lethal ammunition as they cleared the residence. The suspect, though, was not located inside.
That's one of the big things that we always, because again, trust in the community. If we thought as though that there was a continued threat to any member of our community out there, we'd be pushing that out, and we'd be pushing out as much detail as we can. We feel confident through at least the initial part of this investigation that we're currently in a spot that we can confidently say this was an isolated incident.
Again, no arrests announced at this point, and police said they aren't releasing much information since they're trying to protect the integrity of the investigation. And again, Davenport was identified as the victim in this homicide earlier today by authorities. Now, I did speak with Dauphin County District Attorney Fran Sciardo. He told me that he expected to be able to release more information about the homicide soon. We'll keep you up to date on the details about that as they become available. But for now, in Harrisburg, Tom Lehman, WGAL News 8.
Tom, thank you. York City police are looking for who wounded an 18-year-old in an overnight shooting. Officers say it happened along East King Street around midnight. While police say the man is expected to recover, authorities tell us that this is the latest in a string of incidents involving guns that they're trying to solve.
This latest shooting, it was just an altercation that occurred resulting in that shooting. The homicide is something completely separate. We believe that's also isolated.
And both shootings remain under investigation.
Commitment 2024 coverage now. This morning, Lancaster County warned voters about delayed mail-in ballots, but a final decision by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court this afternoon put Lancaster County Board of Elections and others across the state back on track.
Let's go to Meredith Jorgensen. She's live for us outside the County Government Center to explain what this means now for voters. Meredith.
Jerry and Lori, more than 41,000 Lancaster County residents have already requested mail-in ballots. And this morning, the Board of Elections here and others across the state were expecting delays in getting them out. But the Pennsylvania Supreme Court announced a decision in the last third-party candidate case this afternoon, allowing the finalization of the ballot for November. Officials at Lancaster County's Office of Elections said unresolved court cases were holding them up. They wanted voters to know what was going on and why mail-in ballots would be late. So they announced delays this morning. Then the Supreme Court struck down a bid by Cornel West, a third-party candidate hoping to be on the Pennsylvania ballot for President of the United States under the Justice for All party. With that last hurdle cleared, Lancaster County's chairman of the Board of Elections said the schedule for mail-in ballots was suddenly back on track.
It's a relief. It's really good. Our staff works really hard to make sure everything is ready to go, and we get those ballots ready for voters as soon as possible. We know how important it is to voters. We want to be able to make sure that they have that. So we're really feeling good.
Commissioner D'Agostino added while 41,000 mail-in ballots have been requested so far, the county expects as many as 70,000 requests total this election cycle. And regardless if it's a presidential election or not, those mail-in and absentee ballots have a consistent 80% return rate. So if people request them, 80% of them come back. Those requesting them can expect to receive those mail-in ballots the first week in October. In Lancaster County, I'm Meredith Jorgensen, WGAL News 8.
All right, Meredith, thank you. Still to come on News 8 at 6.
Do you own an Apple iPhone? It is the most popular smartphone in America right now. I'm 8 on your side consumer investigator Brian Roach, and I'll tell you about an upgrade to the iPhone that could create a potential security risk for you. I've got that coming up next.
Well, I continue to watch potential tropical cyclone 8 down across the southeast coast. It is bringing some tremendous rain to parts of the Carolinas. It will bring us some showers, but it looks like most of that heavy rain will stay to our south. How about the details on the timing and how much wet weather we could see across the Susquehanna Valley?